A train moves swiftly along its tracks as night falls over the city. Inside one of the cars, a young man with reddish-brown hair stares intently at his phone. A woman with silver hair notices him, asking if he's filmed enough and calling herself a savior, and so ignores her, his eyes fixed on the screen as he thinks something is about to happen on the train. A muscular passenger gets angry, accusing the young man of filming and then lying about it. Just then, the train violently shakes, throwing everyone off balance as the lights begin to flicker. The doors are forced open and a swarm of monstrous green insects floods in the carriage. The other passengers cry out in panic, realizing the mutant locusts have caught up to them. One person is completely frozen in fear, terrified at the thought of not surviving. But the young man springs into action, unleashing blue energy that cuts through the monsters. He confidently declares that he is, in fact, the savior who has come to rescue them all, and the scene flashes back to a few moments earlier, with the train continuing its journey. A digital sign announces that this is the last train, with Bayes Station as the next stop, and so the young man remembers from his dream that the tunnel to that station is where it all begins. The silver-haired woman again asks him if he's finished filming, threatening to charge him. He tells her to be quiet, explaining that he is in the middle of a countdown. His eyes narrow with focus as he warns that something bad is about to happen on this last train. And a nearby construction worker tells him not to say unlucky things, as they hate that kind of talk. The muscular man also chimes in, yelling that the youth has the nerve to film and then lie. Meanwhile, other passengers sit quietly, including two women who seem unaware of the danger. Another passenger, a man in a suit, threatens to call the police if the youth does not delete his video. Unfazed, the protagonist ignores him and quietly begins counting down from 3. The others watch in disbelief, with some thinking he is just acting and others finding him pretentious. The suited man gets even angrier, yelling him for pretending while the situation gets tense. And so the young man's countdown reaches its end as he calmly says the number 1. Instantly, a violent tremor shakes the entire train, throwing the passengers off their feet. With his eyes now glowing red, he warns everyone to be careful because monsters have appeared. In shock, the silver-haired woman and the suited man ask what's happening and if monsters are real. The muscular man, however, refuses to believe what he's hearing, claiming it's just a coincidence. A loud scraping noise echoes from outside as sparks fly from the train's metal exterior. The man in the suit falls to the floor from the force of the jolt, but the youth sits calmly. Suddenly, all the lights inside the train shut off, plunging everyone into complete darkness. A phone's flashlight reveals a terrifying creature pressed against the window, scaring the woman. She grabs the protagonist's arm, demanding he explain what he knows about the situation. He simply raises a finger to his lips, silently telling her to be quiet and listen, and a strange cracking sound can be heard coming from outside the walls of the train carriage. More people turn on their phone lights, their anxious faces illuminated in the dark. The muscular passenger nervously asks what the sound is, while the construction worker prays. The young man tells everyone not to worry, casually stating that the noise is just bugs. As he finishes his sentence, the window next to them begins to crack under immense pressure. The cracking sound intensifies as the outer walls of the train begin to buckle under the assault of giant locusts, and a schoolgirl shines her phone's light on a window, revealing the true size of the monsters and making her panic. Her flashlight illuminates several of the giant insects with glowing red eyes, all trying to get inside. The young man calmly tells the girl that the creatures have now targeted her, which only deepens her fear. Meanwhile, the suited man begs the youth to tell them what to do to survive this nightmare. In response, the protagonist grabs the schoolgirl's arm and tells everyone to follow him to the front car. And so, he leads the panic group through the train, urging them to keep up as they run for their lives. A silver-haired woman struggles in her high heels and tight dress, eventually kicking off a shoe to move faster. She stumbles but is caught by the others, who tell her it is not the time to worry about such things. The train remains stopped inside the dark tunnel, with more of the mutant insects crawling on its roof. After a short run, the group finally arrives at the front of the train, looking to their leader for the next step. He reveals a small emergency hammer and declares he will break the front window for their escape. And so the muscular man worries that breaking the window will let the monsters in, but the youth is already swinging. He hits the glass, insisting it is the only way and that they must trust him because he has tried it before. The women look on in confusion, whispering about how strange his words are. He follows up the hammer strikes with a powerful kick, completely shattering the window. With the way clear, he points into the darkness of the tunnel and tells everyone to go. The muscular man and the construction worker promise to repay him if they survive, but he just urges them on. Wasting no time, the construction worker is the first to climb through the jagged opening. Before he follows, the protagonist turns to the quiet, elegantly dressed woman with light purple hair. The woman listens to him, her expression unreadable but calm. He explains that she was never in his dreams, so he doesn't know her fate and she must be careful. She considers his words for a moment and then simply agrees to his plan. And so she and the others head into the tunnel. He watches them go before turning back, now alone on the train. At that moment, the giant locusts finally break through the windows, swarming into the carriage around him. He calmly observes the swarm of level 1 mutant locusts just as he expected. Unafraid, he draws a small, glowing blade, his bandaged hand gripping the hilt firmly. He recalls that killing these bugs in his dreams gave him experience and wonders if reality will be the same. With confidence, he decides to find out, remembering he knows this dungeon, inside and out. He dashes forward and sinks his blade into the head of the nearest monster with a swift, powerful strike. A notification appears, confirming he gained experience, which proves that his dreams are now reality. A wide, excited grin spreads across his face as he realizes the locusts are his personal experience points. He continues to fight, easily dispatching the creatures. It is revealed his name is Kunyu, a Manhwa artist. With each kill, he confirms that he is truly gaining experience points, and his dreams have come true. He had thought his world was ordinary, but now it is becoming something extraordinary. The reason he can handle this situation so easily is because of what happened in his dreams. It all started some time ago, when he began having the same dream every single night. In this dream, monsters attacked cities, and he had to watch as his family and friends were killed. He was furious but could only watch like a helpless bystander, completely powerless. And so that is, until one day he reached out and discovered he could actually enter the world of his dreams. He recalls entering these dream worlds, stepping through a glowing blue portal to face the monsters that awaited him. And so, his battle began. He swore that none of the creatures that slaughtered his people would live, and so every night after that, he entered one of the screens to fight the monsters inside to the death, starting at level 1. But even if he killed all the monsters, the screen would just reappear the next day in his dream, an endless cycle of battle. As he kept fighting, his physical fitness grew stronger until eventually, a prompt for his level appeared. He then realized his dreams were like game dungeons that he could continuously reload to raise his level. Just like in a manhwa, he saw himself as the protagonist of these game dungeons, destined for greatness. And this subway dungeon was the easiest one and the one he had farmed the most, making him an expert on it. He had visited the real-world locations before out of curiosity but never expected one to become real. The only unexpected part was that his level 99 status from his dreams carried over into the real world. This makes his physical fitness far beyond that of a normal person, essentially turning him into a Superman. Now surrounded by these low-level monsters, he can stand tall like a god of slaughter. But with monsters in the real world, he knows he has a duty to save everyone as the protagonist. He furiously crushes another locust, telling the creatures not to even think about destroying his world. Meanwhile, the survivors make their way through the dark tunnel, trying to stay hopeful, and so the silver-haired woman speaks up, asking if they are really just going to leave that handsome guy behind. Her question hangs in the air, and the group falls silent, feeling a collective sense of guilt. And so, the construction worker notes that they do not even know the name of the one who is risking his life for them. Others reflect on their fear, with the schoolgirl admitting that their savior was incredibly brave. Suddenly, the woman with purple hair spots a light up ahead, breaking the somber mood. The elegantly dressed woman asks if they are really going to abandon the man who saved them, and so they stand at the edge of the platform, knowing safety is ahead, but their conscience holds them back. After a moment of hesitation, the silver-haired woman clenches her fist, having made a decision. She ties her hair back, declaring they should return to help and questioning why they should fear some bugs. And so, inspired by her courage, the other men agree they cannot leave him alone and decide to go back to fight. And the schoolgirl, however, is too frightened to go, saying her mother is waiting for her at home. And so, the woman then suggests that someone stay with the girl and get help while the rest of them return. And just as they are about to move, the quiet woman suddenly tells them not to bother, as something is coming. A massive shadow emerges from the darkness of the tunnel, far too large to be a person. It is a terrifying, 2-meter-tall praying mantis with glowing red eyes, leaving the group stunned. Then the creature spots them, and they immediately panic and begin to run for their lives. In a blur of motion, the giant mantis leaps through the air, closing the distance in an instant. The passengers cry out in despair, realizing the monster is about to catch them. One of them screams, completely overcome by the fear of not surviving the attack. Suddenly, a spray of bright green liquid erupts in front of the group, so the silver-haired woman is splattered with the sticky substance but finds herself completely unharmed. Their savior has arrived, having intercepted the mantis's deadly strike just in time, and he stands confidently between them and the monster, declaring that he will save everyone. And so he tells the shocked woman to move back and hide, and she gratefully follows his instruction. The other men watch in awe, stunned that he wounded the beast and realizing his true strength. The woman with purple hair watches the young man face the mantis, thinking he is certainly different from the others. In her thoughts, she reveals that there are many chosen ones in this world selected by the will of the planet. These chosen individuals, known as geniuses, possess talents capable of changing the world. This group pushes the planet towards a more perfect state, giving it a powerful, endless life force. They represent the positive development and growth of humanity in the world itself. But she believes the young man was not chosen by the planet but rather by the coexisting Dark Star will. The Dark Star will only cares about a spectacular performance, even if it brings horrific disaster to the planet. While those chosen by it gain immense power, their desires become amplified and twisted, yet he has been helping everyone, and she wonders if he is faking his kindness or if it is his true nature, finding the human mind hard to understand. Her internal monologue ends as her gaze remains fixed on the unfolding scene before her. Meanwhile, the protagonist sees a status window for the level 3 Broadaxe Mantis, noting it can drop an item. He realizes with excitement that items, which he couldn't bring from his dreams before, can now be obtained in reality. These real-world items can significantly boost his combat power for the challenges ahead. He knows the more items he collects, the better his chances will be against future unpredictable changes, and thinking strategically, he decides to lure the mantis further away from the group before finishing it off, and so remembers from the dream dungeon that the others rushing to help only led to casualties, and he must prevent that here. He also considers a superstition that toying with a monster longer might yield a better item drop. He briefly wonders if that same logic will apply now that the events are happening in reality. He dodges another swift attack from the mantis, putting his plan into motion, and so the survivors watch in awe, with some marveling at his Olympic-level speed while others think he's struggling, and survivors realize he is luring the mantis away, believing he plans to sacrifice himself to save them. Refusing to let that happen, the muscular man rallies the others to go help, and the silver-haired woman agrees. But as they prepare to run back, a strange sound from the fight makes them all freeze in their tracks. With a confident grin, the protagonist leaps into the air and delivers a final, decisive blow to the monster's head. The rest of the group can only watch from the platform, their faces frozen in pure shock and disbelief. The giant mantis explodes in a flash of light, leaving behind two glowing orbs floating in the air. The young man observes the grayish-white orbs, noting that he couldn't expect much from a level 3 monster, and the items are identified as an E-rank skill book and a dagger, which he decides will be very handy. A new sharp dagger materializes from the light and falls to the ground in front of him. He then picks up one of the glowing orbs, commanding the blade of the Broadaxe Mantis to reveal its true form. The orb transforms into a vibrant, serrated dagger which he notes has a decent EFAL rating. The others are stunned, comparing the monster's explosive death to something from a video game, and the silver-haired woman adds that none of this, from the monsters to his skills, could possibly exist in reality, and so, they come to the conclusion that they must have been transported as a group to another world. However, the quiet woman with purple hair corrects them, stating this world itself has changed. The group is left confused, asking how she knows this and what it means for their normal lives, and so she cryptically tells them they will understand everything in the future, provided they can survive. Her words remind them of the immediate danger, from the swarm of locusts to the giant mantis. The suited man acknowledges that without their savior, they would not have survived the first attack, and so the construction worker adds that the young man seems to know everything, questioning why he keeps helping them, and so their savior waves them over with a cheerful smile, telling them to hurry and prepare to clear the area. The group decides that surviving is the most important thing, putting their questions and suspicions aside for now. As they gather, he asks why they look so grim, wondering if their strange behavior is another deviation from his dreams. He playfully asks if they are all stunned by his awesome power, but his lightheartedness is met with serious stares. The woman with purple hair steps forward, asking why he is helping strangers instead of just saving himself. She questions if he is darkness in disguise, or true light, trying to understand his motives, and so finds it unbelievable that after saving them, they are treating him like a demon. He admits that if he had not met them thousands of times in his dreams, he would have left them long ago. Seeing their continued worry, he sighs and decides to explain the real reason for his actions. The others lean in, eager to finally hear the truth behind his mysterious knowledge and powers. But just as he is about to speak, he is cut off by a sudden, loud noise from the other end of the tunnel. Massive red-headed centipede emerges from the darkness, even larger than the mantis from before. The passengers scream and run with the muscular man yelling for Superman Bro to help them. The protagonist calmly instructs them to hide in the tunnel near the platform, but not to go up yet, and the group is shocked to hear there's a final boss, but they trust him and promise to repay him. And before leaving, he tells the quiet woman that she should also go, as it is too dangerous for her to stay. She watches as the giant centipede crawls closer, its many legs skittering on the tracks. He asks if she still wants to know the answer right now, despite the immediate threat. He finds her stubbornness interesting, noting she never appeared in his dreams, yet she remains, and so he then tells her to wait until he has dealt with the monster, and he will tell her everything. Unfazed, the woman states she can find out on her own and activates something called a planetary will scan. A digital interface appears, successfully locking onto the young man as he battles the centipede. Her eyes glow with a blue light as she processes the information from the scan. The scan reveals his codename is Kyunyu. He is human, level 99, and a dual star consciousness influencer. And so this is a unique existence that transcends both geniuses and extraordinary individuals, and there are only thousands like him. And such individuals are resilient enough to seize opportunities and leave their names in the annals of history. Those with exceptional resilience usually only reach levels between 20 and 50 in their dreams. She is utterly shocked to find that he is at the maximum level of 99. She wonders how it is possible, as his type type has the ability to repeatedly experience reality in dreams. This means they must endure countless experiences of psychological torment intensified to the extreme. Every dream is the most excruciating pain imaginable, a constant cycle of suffering. To reach level 99, he must have endured tens of millions of these agonizing experiences. After so much torment, he should have gone insane, yet he appears so lively and cheerful, and she watches him playfully taunt the giant centipede, wondering if his brain nerves have been damaged. He quickly defeats the monster, but is disappointed to find that only one item dropped. He picks up the glowing orb, curious to see what he got this time. The item is revealed to be an E-rank storage space that can hold items in a time-stopped state. He is pleased with this, realizing he can use it to stockpile food if the world falls into chaos. He recalls that in his dreams, such items could be stored in his mental realm and wonders if it is possible in reality. He tests his theory, and the storage cube shrinks and disappears into his palm with a soft hum. A small, glowing symbol is left on his palm where the cube disappeared into his skin. He is delighted that the storage ability works in reality, finding it incredibly convenient. Standing over the defeated monster, he turns to the mysterious woman and asks for a reason for staying, and he is surprised to see she hasn't left with the others, calling her a persistent woman. She tells him her question has changed, and now she wants to know why he has not gone insane. He is taken aback by her question, asking what nonsense she is talking about. He then strikes a heroic pose, declaring he is a rare comic artist who creates purely out of passion and is very tough. Unimpressed, the woman looks at him and calmly states that he really is insane. He is shocked that she knows this and asks if she also has dreams about instant descents. So, she explains that while she does not have them, many people in the world do, but none are like him. He finds this interesting, realizing for the first time that he is not the only one experiencing these dreams. She notes that any normal person would assume the world has gone wrong, not suspect a hidden truth. He dismisses her point with a confident grin, saying that it does not matter. With a determined look, he declares that someone as formidable as him will definitely save the world.